Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. As we continue with Part 10, Bodhidharma, the Patriarch of Zen, from the Adepts in the Eastern Esoteric tradition by Manly Palmer Hall, Part 2, the Arhats of Buddhism. Bodhidharma, the Patriarch of Zen. Although the school of Dhyana originated in India and flourished in China, it seems advisable to consider it among the Buddhist sects of Japan. We do this because for centuries the Japanese have been the outstanding exponents of this strange and obscure doctrine. For reasons which will later appear more obvious, this contemplative rite, which was introduced into Japan in 1168, possibly earlier, had particular appeal to the military class. The heart of the soldier is burdened with countless uncertainties and fears, and his dangerous profession inclines him to seek a form of spiritual consolation which gives promise of victory over pain and death. Bodhidharma, known in Japan as Daruma, the 28th Patriarch of Buddhism, was initiated into the mysteries by the great master Panyatara. After his initiation, Bodhidharma, who was a Hindu by birth, journeyed to China. According to some accounts, he walked the entire distance, but others have called him the navigating Brahman, and suppose that he came on a ship. He established himself in the Shaolin monastery, where he sat in meditation for 9 years, keeping awake by drinking vast quantities of tea. He remained in China the rest of his life, which extended through the greater part of the 5th century. From Ikkyu Gaikotsu, Portrait of Bodhidharma, 28th Patriarch of Zen, by a talented artist priest of the sect. In appearance, Bodhidharma was certainly an extraordinary person. His huge body, shaggy brows, and piercing blue eyes have inspired many ferocious representations of him by the artists of his sect. He was likened to a growling bear, huddled in his red robe, mumbling and grumbling about everything in general and nothing in particular. But by any qualified estimation, he was one of the greatest Arhats of Buddhism. And like Socrates, he has survived any defect of personal charm by the magnificent capacity of his mind. When the Dhyana doctrine reached Japan, the word Dhyana, meaning meditation, was translated into the Japanese equivalent Zen. The change of locale resulted in modifications of the teachings themselves, but the contemplative quality still dominates to a large degree. The austerity of the Zen concepts appear at first to be cold and forbidding, but this superficial atmosphere of skepticism and cynicism conceals an intensely lovable and genuinely inspiring philosophy of life. Zen does not attack realities, but vigorously opposes all sham and deceit. There is no place in its conception of things for the temporal ambitions of foolish mortals or for the complacent self-assurance of those worldly wise and spiritually ignorant. It sweeps away with a gesture of profound contempt both the greatness of the great and the smallness of the small. It ridicules emperors as cheerfully as it rebukes the lowest ruffian. It makes a fine art of giving offense and delights in embarrassing those who regard themselves as outstanding citizens. If it cannot brush away the whole world with its horsehair whisk broom, at least it makes a valiant attempt. But it does not tear away the marks of false learning or respectability merely to satisfy some frustrated instinct of its own superiority. Its real motive is to reveal the simple beauty of the honest human face behind the mask. It seeks to dignify the real by reminding men that simple ways are the best, and all pretense must end in sorrow and suffering. In 1938, the membership of the 3 branches of the Zen Shu in Japan totaled about 9.5 million. The largest sect of the Zen communion is the Soto, which was brought from China soon after 1223 by the priest Dogen, Joyo Daishi. The substance of the Soto conviction may be gathered from a statement of the doctrine by Dogen. Birth and death are the life of Buddha itself. To escape them is to run away from the life of Buddha. The teachings of the princely patriarch Bodhidharma, as he attempted to bestow them upon the Chinese emperor in 520, has exercised a wide influence in most departments of Japanese living. The method of Zen is called Zazen, or the tranquil session. This mood permeated the art, literature, and culture of the entire country. Dr. M. Anisaki, sometime professor of Japanese literature and life at Harvard University, thus describes the spiritual perspective of the Zenist. His mind, finding unbroken quiet deep in the heart of nature, perceives the motion and the changes in things as fleet expressions stirring, perhaps the profound repose of nature's face. In the world, many are born and many die. The years roll on, the seasons follow one another. Leaves bud out green and wither, flowers bloom and are scattered. Let them come and go as they may. The Zenist observes it all in cool composure, though not in stupid indifference. What interests him is the calmly flowing aspect of this perpetual change, or more properly, the eternal tranquility seen through and behind the changes. In his sight, the beauty and grandeur of a waterfall consist in its motion as a whole, not in the movement of particular drops and bubbles. And it was this motion that the Zenist enjoyed as a symbol of the general everlasting flow of nature. The world he sees, like the landscapes painted by Seshu, is without dazzling color and vivid movement. Through his mind, all phenomena are drawn into the quiet abyss of the spiritual ocean, where there are neither waves nor whirlpools, and where the individual coalesces with the vast expanse of nature and with the unchangeable continuity of the universe. In short, Zen is a naturalism which defies the lure of human activity and absorbs nature and life into the all-embracing tranquility of the mind identified with the cosmos. One of the cardinal tenets of Zen is that knowledge can be transmitted from heart to heart without the intervention of words. The supreme truth is entirely too subtle to be entrusted to the limited symbolism of language. In silence, Buddha revealed the Dhyana. In silence, Paññātara conferred it upon Bodhidharma, and in silence, this great adept bestowed the succession upon the Patriarchs of Zen. He poured the doctrine into the vessels of his disciples' heart, as into a new pitcher, thus securing the silent perpetuation of the mysteries of the law. When the time came for Bodhidharma to depart, he gathered the monks and nuns of the order about him and questioned them as to the realization they had obtained. Having resolved all difficulties, the aged Arhat retired into the consciousness of the doctrine. 3 years after his reported death, a strange story began to be circulated. Some peasants in the hill country had seen the fierce old philosopher plodding on his way through the western mountains of China, his face resolutely turned toward India. He was barefooted, but for some inexplicable reason was carrying one shoe in his hand. The reports became so numerous that the Emperor of China, to settle the matter, caused the tomb of Bodhidharma to be opened. To the amazement of everyone, the grave was empty except for one shoe, the mate to the slipper that Bodhidharma had carried away. On the strength of this account, it has been affirmed that the great Dhyana monk never really died, but, having completed his labors in China, employed the subterfuge of death as a convenient method of disappearing. Philosophic deaths of this kind are frequent in the accounts of adepts. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.